A mother's love for their child is the most intense thing I've ever felt. I would give up my whole life and everything, whatever I needed to do to help my child. My favorite line from A Midsummer Night's Dream is, "Though she be but little, she is fierce." Elliot was the sweetest little baby. He rarely cried, really.
Spring roll with carrot coming out of it.
You really don't know until you hold that child what it's like to really fall in love with someone.
He looks just like you.
3 months after Elliot was born, he started developing an eczema patch. It began up on his eye in like a little football-shaped patch.
The rash just looked like normal baby eczema. And then within a few weeks' time, it began to turn red, and then the bumps would turn into blisters and started bleeding. Elliot was focused so much on relieving the itch, that he wasn't reaching milestones properly. Having to see your child go through that, it's the hardest thing that I've ever been through. We took Elliot to a doctor. We found out he had over 50 allergies. Then they were saying, use this type of soap, use these types of products. They need to be allergen-free. They need to be gentle and clear on your child's skin. Well, none of these soaps are working for him. The whole experience, it lit a fire in me. And I knew I had to do something to help my baby. And so I started Googling how to make soap. And then it took me to YouTube, which is where I go to look up how to do anything. I knew nothing about how to make soap. The first video I came across was from Anne Marie. She's known as the Soap Queen. She's like the go-to person to learn how to make soap from. It's basically just a mix of lye water and fats. You can combine the two. That combination causes saponification, which is where the word soap came from. I would just click through videos and see how this person decided to mix it and what type of blender they were using, what type of ingredients they were using, how did they pour it in, how did they add the lye. And so I knew from there that I could create my base that would be allergen-free, and I could go from there. We were up against the clock. It was a long process, a lot of trial and error. Made a batch and it would fail, make another batch, it would fail. That went on for months. And so I did feel like a scientist in a lab. Things were bubbling.
She's out in the yard with full gloves on and the mask, and my first thought was, oh my God, neighbors are gonna think we're crazy. Yeah, they might still think that, but anyway.
It took us about 3 months of experimenting until I finally found the types of methods on YouTube that I wanted to use, and then I perfected it. It had been 11 months of trial and error with various medications, soaps, anything we could do, until finally, when we made the soap and everything came together, after all that time, to see him, to finally see results, it was amazing. And I made that, knowing that I did that for him. It did feel very much like he was trapped by his eczema. He's beautiful, his skin is gorgeous, and he's a happy boy. There's nothing better in the world. There's no better feeling. This is a miracle, people would say. And then I realized that I wasn't the only one. There were so many other people that were dealing with eczema. And so it's become a family business for us. I never thought that we would be becoming a national brand, but sometimes you plan things and life might derail you and take you on a different path. And sometimes you just gotta follow that path and see where it takes you, because it might be better than your original plan. And this one definitely was.